Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Team Maruti podcast, where we explore the fascinating history, science, and culture of India. I'm Shloka Maktala, and I'll be the host of today's podcast. In the podcast, we will dive into the topics of calculus and the events that caused the transfer of it from India to Europe. We will also be finding the reasons for this transfer. In today's podcast, we'll be using the ideas from the book The Imperishable Seed by Bhaskar Campbell. Before we get into the main topic of today, let's talk about this very thought-provoking book. Mr. Campbell explores the origins and history of mathematics by explaining the roots of mathematics, the many subjects explored in India, the diffusion of Indian knowledge, and the mistaken attributions. To understand how calculus made its way from India to Europe, first we need to go back to the roots of this complex mathematics. Normally, it is thought that calculus was founded by Isaac Newton and Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz in the 17th century. However, this generalized information does not give credit to evidence of older uses and developments of calculus in India. Evidence has been shown to have dated back as far as the 14th century, showing how ideas developed long before the 17th century in Europe. There are many topics developed in India, such as sine and cosine calculations, area of the circle and volume of the sphere, infinite series, including the series of pi. This information is further developed in Bhaskar Campbell's book in Chapter 7, Calculus, on page 149. You may be wondering, what evidence is there to show that India developed these subjects first? Well, later in the book, it is explained how there was no significant history of calculus in Europe. Rather, it was spontaneous. Contrary to this, India has a history of mathematics going back thousands of years. Due to certain political events, Hindu culture was being suppressed for some time in the 1300s. After it was resolved, the gained security allowed culture to flourish and subjects like mathematics to be pursued. In Kerala, calculus was developed. Now, how was this information spread? According to the book, there were Jesuit missionaries in Kerala, where they had developed many calculus concepts, as stated before. The Jesuits were knowledgeable in mathematics and local languages, allowing them to converse and interact with Indian scholars. They then took this information back to Europe, and it was utilized there. Another way it was spread was by the Silk Road. Arab traders would sell the information bought from India and China to traders in Venice, and then it would be sold to the rest of Europe from very high profit. You may wonder, why was this information so sought after? Well, calculus is used for many valuable things. For example, navigation, astronomy, and most of engineering. There was also much competition in Europe for scientific and technological advancement, making them eager to know more about subjects such as mathematics. It was also an age of exploration for Europe, causing the desire for precise mathematic concepts. The transfer of calculus from India to Europe was a very complex process that spanned for a very long period of time. Indian concepts and development had a huge impact on European calculus, allowing them to have great advancements. Through transmission of knowledge, calculus found its way into mainstream European mathematics, shaping the course of mathematical history. That's all for today's episode of Team Maruti's podcast. To find out more, please check out the amazing book, The Imperishable Seed by Bhaskar Campbell. Join us next time as we continue to explore the shaping of Indian culture. I'm your host, Shloka Maktala, and thanks for listening.